to the magazines that carry their truth. 25 years of the same steady hand, finding the ones who fell through the cracks of the plan. From Mitcham to Croydon, from London to the world, every flaggy planet said, you matter, you're hurt, but there's a man who finds you in the car.
No idea, Bill. We're here. I'm still stuck on that picture, Bill. I don't understand why. But let's not worry about that. How are you today?
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is William Rochelle. You can call me Bill, and I am excited to be here with Any Osung today. Any, that graphic that you had up there, wonderful. Crisp, clean. That's what we need to do for your background over there. We need to change it out. You did a good job on that one. I don't know why your background over there is so fuzzy.
Like say night.
But you know what? I'm not going to complain about something. I'm just going to fix it for you. Because that's what you do, you know? Because you don't notice it because you see it every day.
Yes.
So I am going to make sure that I am not a complainer, that I am a helper.
Everyone loves a helper, Bill. Everyone loves a good helper, right?
Absolutely. 12 people can tell me what's wrong with my life, but not one person going to help me fix it.
It's the story of life, right? That's why we have you, Bill. Now, someone a bit different. Like, the reason my background is a bit weird because my camera is off as we speak, which is rather weird. Normally it comes on automatically, so I have no idea why it's doing that. Maybe
it's okay because the best part of this is that your hands are up in the air. You look like the police have said, just put your hands behind your back. I'm like, oh.
Interest. I have no idea what's going on anymore. I had a simple life before I got a new camera. Now I got a new camera, and suddenly I am having to fight a technical war before I even start my shows. It's fine. It's fine.
You know what?
No one's gonna die.
It is your energy that brings people to your stage, and that's the beauty of it.
Today's you. You're the one with energy, right? I'm feeling a bit but no. Life is great. Life is great. Life is great when I start my days invoicing my clients. No, as good as any other, really. So that I'm cheered up. The joy I get joy.
So, real quick, you're a businessman, so I think that you've already started this new business, and I don't think you realize it. So we're gonna call it Christiana's Catering. We'll make sure she knows how to package it up and get it shipped within 24 hours. Across, we're gonna start with the UK first, right? Because that's a safer bet, and then she can start doing international. He's writing it down, y'all.
I really am. Yeah.
Because look, I would pay for some real Nigerian food, home cooked, that can get here in 24 hours, and it's packed well. Let's do it.
The weirdest thing ever, Bill. The weirdest thing ever, right? I went to see one of my cousins from Nigeria who moved here with his wife to the UK. And then as I'm sitting there, and he tells me, oh, she's got a catering business. I'm like, really? Yes, she makes all natural tomato paste puree type thing. Like every Nigerian has tomato stew. Tomato paste, not every day, right? So I'm like, okay, no, that sounds brilliant. Where do you sell them? I've got them in local shops, but I can't go further because I need a refrigerated transport. I'm like, and that's a problem? Yeah, because they're very expensive and even if it's not worth it, by the time it gets to anywhere beyond the local area, it goes up. I'm like, it can't go off that quick. How long does it need? A day? Two days? You know, it's like my point is like, so this lady got brilliant products, selling brilliantly in Nigeria, selling brilliantly here, but can't increase her orders because she can't deliver her. It's a genuine problem.
All right. So we're going to research how long it takes to get food from one point to another. And I know you pack it on dry ice because people do it all the time. How much would it cost to ship it across from wherever you're at in that side of the world?
Yeah.
You know, and then we can come over here because that's gonna take a couple of days.
Yeah, I mean, it's like just from Christianity to here will be good. I mean, it's like we're in the same country, just a few different towns in between.
Yeah, and you know she can actually do, like, we could set this up right now. So she preps, right? She has a show every other week. So the week she doesn't do the show, she's catering. She's prepping the food.
You tell her.
Right? She's prepping the food. She's getting everything picked and packed, and then her children, or her child. How many children does she have? Does she have?
A young son.
One son. Okay, so he packs, right? She needs to make sure he has on gloves because kids are full of snot and sneezing. So he puts on gloves. He packs all the food up. It's like a little project for him and his little friends. And then her husband takes it to FedEx. We got it. It's like an assembly line.
It can work. It can work, though. It definitely work. I think it's what we need to do, right?
You know, and it's a black-owned business. Come on now.
Let's do it. Let's do it. So anything that gets me more food, you know, it's a joy. I'll take it any day. Let's welcome some of our friends who are here. How you doing, Kenny? It's been a while. Glad you're here. When risht shows your message. Yay! It's early for you, Kenny. I bet you haven't been to sleep. That's what I figure, right? Thank you, Charlie. Glad you're here as well. Happy new day for you. Good evening. It's afternoon here.
It's morning.
Yes, for you it's morning. But Charlie's in the US.
Oh my God! You must be getting ready for work.
Exactly. Look, we'll take them all. Whether you're about to go to sleep, whether you're about to go to work, whether it's like breakfast time or lunchtime, you're here. That's important thing. Of course, if you're here, my friends, do drop us a message. Otherwise, I would not know it's you. I know you're here, but I won't know it's you in particular. So I won't see your name until you say something.
So our call to action right now is that everybody in the comments and everybody on LinkedIn kind of let me know that you're out there. Tell me you love me. Send a heart. Right into the comments, the boogeyman.
You know, the world has changed. You know, the sentence the world is changing, Bill. I don't think we listen, right?
Hey, Annie, so are you using your regular mic or are you using the mic from your
the thing.
Okay. Could you kind of sound far away? I just want to make sure that your audio hasn't switched.
This mic wasn't on. I don't know why.
Yeah. Okay. Much better.
Anyway, this
much better.
Okay. Excellent. Right. So where was I? No, it doesn't matter where I was, right? No.
I was catering for food and trying to get Christianity.
I'm trying to avoid thinking. I won't think about food. You know, I will ignore that for now. You know, I'm more interested in your book, Bill. I have started reading it, by the way. I did start reading. You have not? Yeah, I have.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Interesting. Right. I am more interested in the process, but let's talk about the book. Tell me all about it, Bill. Tell me all about it.
You tell me a little bit about it. You read it.
I've read the first 2 chapters.
Oh, really? Okay, so what did you think about the first 3 chapters? Did you know everything, or was it?
No. I didn't know most. I didn't know most of the things in there. So where the first, the introduction sets the scene about how we divide a society, which I find
Yeah.
quite interesting. And
Yep.
I guess I'm on your side. I'm on your side because I'm a socialist at heart. Many people have a problem saying that, but I do not. I'm no. I can see you're a
Well,
socialist too. You sound like a socialist. Well, being American, I'm not sure.
you know what? I think that people have gotten that word confused with communism.
Yes, I agree.
And
Nowhere near it.
and it's not.
Absolutely.
Socialism basically means that basic human needs are met.
Yes.
And up until I think it was 1960s or 1970s, healthcare was free in America, and it was good until we decided, okay, let's have people make money off of that. Childcare was much better, and I don't want to see. I can't give away too much of my book, y'all, but it's interesting. But um, there was the same thing called two different names. One was called um, I'm sorry, it's early. My mind is blank.
It's
But one was basically like the hand up, which meant that if you were in America and you had children, the government actually gave you money to help you raise your children. And it really was what created that middle class feeling. But if you were a black person, it was called welfare. Same thing, same money coming from the same pocket.
yeah,
But it was labeled two different things. And what they would do is, you guys got to read the book, but they would go into black homes and see if there was a viable male in that home. And if there was a male, then they would not give the benefit. And so, what a lot of men did in order to ensure that their families were fed was leave the home. And so, again, you have to look at how all these things that we're seeing today were manufactured. It wasn't that we were lazy. It wasn't that we were deadbeat dads. It was out of love. It was they sacrificed themselves so that their kids could eat. And I saw that represented. I don't know if you remember this, but Diane Carroll did a movie called Claudine. Would you not do that?
Then they can't see my frozen self, can they, Bill? In all your glory.
You're all up close. I'm like halfway. At least give a brother. Let me know. Hey, on Bill, on 3, we're gonna do this. All of a sudden, I'm just like, bam. But the movie Claudine, if you guys have not watched it, it's a really good movie about the black plight in the 70s, and she was dating James Earl Jones. And what they depicted in the movie was someone coming in, and they had to remove every gift, every shoe, every tie, anything that related to a man. So Claudine was a single mom, and she started dating, and he, like, her toaster broke, so he would buy her a new one. He wasn't living there, but he was there often because he wanted to make sure she was there for her kids. Um, and they had to hide anything that looked like a gift because they had to explain how they could afford it. And if he was in the house, they had to hide him.
Mm.
So they would look for shoes, like any. Imagine you're at home, and anytime they want, they can knock on your door and go through your closets. It's not a
Isn't
good
that
thing.
everyday? Isn't that everyday life?
Well, right now in America with ICE, yeah, for some people,
Hmm.
for some people, yes, but um, you know, it, I think I said yesterday, what would you want people to understand? And I said, don't define yourself by your zip code. And what I meant by that was, Annie just said, isn't that everyday life? And no, not for me. But you know what? Depending upon your zip code, that could be. And it doesn't mean that it's right, because the intent was never to go into the suburban homes to harass that community. It was to manifest this narrative that this one group of people are taking from another group of people.
Hmm.
And that's never been true.
Yeah. That I can understand. I mean, essentially, we have a false categorization, a false hierarchy,
Absolutely.
which is based on you being better than the other. Uh, that's a big lie, right? That's the big lie. Or at least that's one of the big lies.
Several. There's
Exactly.
several.
So I've read 2 chapters, so
Okay, so which is
that,
it? Which is it? Because you said 3 a minute ago. Now it's
no,
2.
I read chapter 1 and chapter 2. So I've
Okay.
read those 2 for sure. And then, of course, the introduction sets the scene as well. In my world, that's a chapter in itself, right?
Right. So you completed the whole grocery store scene?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. Which again, look, from what I've read, it's fact after fact after fact that you're dropping.
Yeah.
In the book,
Yeah.
which many of us don't think about. I like the, I like the way you explain where the poor suddenly came from. you know,
Yeah.
again,
It but as you read it, and then you listen to American um, outlets and how they describe a certain group of people, and they say, well, why haven't they pulled themselves up from their bootstraps? They did, and then you knock them back down. Why haven't they developed anything? We did, but you refuse to give us patents. Keep reading the book.
I
Don't
will.
stop on 2 chapters, because it's going to build, and then that sets the stage for volume 2. And volume 2 is so powerful because volume 1, you're like, okay, facts. Okay, I get that. But volume 2 is now taking those facts and saying, now this is 100 years later.
Well,
And
sometimes more, because you're
yeah,
referencing 1700s, 1500s, and so on, right? To get this far.
absolutely. And in volume 3, I'm going to just give this one because it's not my quote. I took it from someone, but I want everybody to answer this question. All right. But any you have to follow along. What are you doing? Are you putting on deodorant?
I'm doing no such thing. I'm sitting here frozen. I'm debating, do I turn the camera back on or do I just leave it? You know, you can hear me. That's my
I
deodorant.
keep hearing like spray sounds. I'm like,
No,
what's he doing?
no. And I move my mouse. That's all I move my mouse. So that's what you can
Oh,
hear, right?
so I want everyone to answer this question. So if someone stole your mother's car, any answer the question. If someone stole your mother's car, is that still your mother's car?
Yes, of course it is.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yes.
Of course it is.
If someone, that same person, took your mother's car and then gave it to their son, is that still your mother's car?
Yes.
And if that son gave it to his son, is that still your mother's car?
Yes.
Okay.
Until you buy it from
From your
me
mother.
or my mother, I don't see how it's never gonna be your car, right?
That's generational wealth. And so if you think about the fact that our patents were stolen, our ideas were stolen, our people were stolen, and what has been reaped from that stolen piece of property that we were, other people have handed down to their children, but never given back the actual property to the people that actually owned it. Think about that. Think about that. Think about the fact that there are some people that are called the boogeyman because they've been considered violent. But at the same time, I can't find any source that says that Native Americans or Africans or Mexicans have gone overseas, raped, pillaged, and just took land. How do you find land that somebody's already living on? That's like Goldilocks. People think that's such a great story. That woman walked in and just said, "I'm going to take your house and determine which bed is right for me." Who does that? And that's okay. And then the bears get arrested.
It's a way to look at it. You know, I suppose, you know, there are, no, there's always the stories doing the rounds these days that African countries kicked out the white farmers, for example. I'm talking about Zimbabwe, South Africa, for example, right? And now they're begging for them back because the locals can't farm the land, which is amazing to think. You know, I mean, the question that I think it comes back to your question, Bill. How did the white man own that land in Africa in the first place? Right. You know,
It just and you know, when we are talking about things that happened decades ago or centuries ago,
yeah, exactly, generations.
and that in no way should bother you today. But we need to understand our history better. And our history has not even been taught to us correctly. People always ask me what made me think about the book. And this didn't make me think about the book, but this made me continue writing it. Was again, Christiana said to me on one of our conversations that her grandfather was told that he could not speak his native tongue. He had to speak English because it had been colonized. And I believe she said you could have been thrown in jail or beaten at that time. Her grandfather. So this isn't a million years ago. So if you think about that,
My granddad had the same thing, Bill. You know, say so we're born British, but Nigerian parents, obviously, and then we got shipped off to Nigeria. And granddad was very, very insistent. You don't speak the local language around me. Of course, he spoke it. You know, and
right?
it's not so much a local language. You know, let's say there are two
Your native
languages.
tongue.
Yes, there's native tongue, and then there's pidgin English, broken English. Right now, patois, call it what you know. It's all the same, really. But you know, there's variations everywhere you go. You know, and literally, we could not speak pidgin English around here at all. You know, and I think, you know, when you're a kid, you know, it's easy to say yes, no, with one word. But obviously, you know, you have to say it. You know, we have to say it in English. You know, again, I can try and think: is that a good or a bad thing? You know, it's a good thing now. It's a good thing because we came back to England. We're speaking English properly. You know, was our new normal. Call it that, right? This was in the 80s, 85 to be exact. You know, and so you know, we can on one hand thank him. But look, you know, I think what upsets the whole thing, Bill, from my side, is the fact that we're British. We're part of the problem, as far as the world is concerned. You know, Black British, Black American, we have the same problem, which is that.
I think there's a difference though, because I think the difference between the Black British and the Black American, or you and Christiana, is at least you know where you came from. Like you understand what your culture is. You understand what it's like. And you also understand that because of the hierarchy that wasn't created by Nigerians, but was probably created by other people that said, okay, you guys are going to be the wealthy and you guys are going to be over here. How it created that divide where you couldn't walk into certain neighborhoods. But what you just said is not, and that's why I say the boogeyman, because it's not one person, you guys. Because I remember growing up in Los Angeles, and Mexican affluent people would say, "Oh, I don't speak Spanish. My parents won't allow me to speak Spanish in the home," and it was because their parents did not want them to have an accent.
Yeah.
Now, the problem with that is, why are we, in all of our beauty, chasing somebody else's culture? Why are we forcing ourselves to bend and contort to make somebody else feel comfortable, while at the same time those same people are looking at what we're doing, imitating it, and making money off of it? It's a vicious cycle, and I believe, and one of the things in the book that ends the book real clearly and it's going to freak some people out, is I believe in speaking about color and race. And I believe that for me to say, oh, I don't see color, then that means you don't see me. You are saying my history is not important. So in order for us to really grow, we have to acknowledge the beauty in our diversity. We have to understand what each person brings to the table and why the society has continuously downplayed every single person but one. And when I say person, I mean gender, I mean sexual orientation, I mean color, everything. If you're not one specific person, you're less than.
You see,
And that's not a opinion. You can just look at the facts.
no, Bill, slow down. Look, we are now in 2026. You know who the biggest victim is? And I may say, just because of Russia, as I like to be, they will tell us today, Bill, the white man.
Go back to your other mic.
Oh, okay, so my microphone, I've started it, so that's why I started moving again, Bill. Again, I had to restart the camera. Right.
All right, go ahead.
Bill, they'll say to you today, which they will use to justify the far right movements that we see in Western societies, that the biggest person suffering today is a white man. The white man is suffering from childhood to death. They'll have you believe today, because everything's unfair to them and everything has gone too far. Like the black man's taking their jobs, just taking their wives, just taking, I don't know who, their kids, I'm sure, and he just carries on. And I feel sorry for the white man who doesn't know who doesn't understand his history.
Well, you just read chapter 2, and chapter 2 tells you everything that justifies what you just said.
Mm.
The minute that grocery store became profitable, they killed those people.
Mm.
Because instead of them doing better,
Yeah.
building a better product,
Mm.
they would rather put you in jail or hang you from a tree than to see you succeed. So
And it's all fair. It's right, because you can't have someone else coming to ruin your life, surely.
so people ask or say all the time that there's reverse racism.
Mm.
There's no such thing as reverse racism, because in order for there to be reverse racism, then the people that are doing the reverse racism have to be the people in power.
Yeah.
So that's not possible. They say there's no such thing as white privilege.
Mm.
And you guys just listen. This is not a power to the people speech. This is a everyone open up your eyes and ask yourself if any. No, don't use him.
I'm never a good example, Bill. I'm all right.
If ask a question, Kamala Harris, with all the credentials she had behind her, brilliant woman. She told us exactly what would happen to America. And America chose to vote in a 34-count felon with 11 bankruptcies, a record of fraud, and a rapist. Sexual assault, I'm sorry. So it's the same thing, but I want to make sure that I say it correctly, because on the books it says sexual assault. So there's several different levels. He now owns E. Jean Carroll $80 million. He has 5 kids from 3 different babies' mamas. He put out a full-page ad to kill Black teenagers in the 80s that were later found not guilty of the crime. And he never found it in his heart to say, I was wrong, or apologize for that. Come on, yo. He's made billions of dollars being in the White House. And some ding-dongs out there are saying, well, it's because he's a businessman. Y'all, he is he is taking food from your grandmother. Taking food from your grandmother. His son is creating Bitcoins, and then he's endorsing them, and it's going way up high. And then you know what happens? People invest their money, and then it tanks. So they get it out there, they get it high, they sell high, and then you lose your money. He sells you a Trump phone that's made out of plastic gold that looks like it came from Barbie's Playhouse. And you fools buy it. And you wait for 3 years to get it, and then you complain because the technology is 3 years old. I've never seen such blatant disrespect for the American people that I see today. I find it unbelievable.
I can hear that.
And well, because just shut your eyes and put Barack Obama in there, and then say Barack Obama just had a UFC fight on the front lawn of the White House. We could not do that, but y'all can.
Yeah.
With our money. With our money. With our money. This man had this man had our entire military on his birthday drive down the streets of Washington, D.C. Did nobody show up? He took off every plaque of Black history in national parks. He removed the name of Colin Powell and every other Black person from Arlington Cemetery and pushed it down so that you can't really see the significance of what the Black man has done in America. They're banning books so that we cannot teach our children about what happened. So why did I write this book? Because they're not telling you the truth. And there are things in this book that I learned that shocked me because they never told me. The book starts at a very specific time, but it's not about slavery. It's about everything after that.
Yeah.
It's about everything after that. This is not a slavery book. This is not a nobody knows the trouble I've seen. This is a book about resilience.
Yes, I
And
agree
each
with that.
time we pick ourselves back the fuck up, dust ourselves off, and we grow again, and then someone else comes and bombs us. The biggest bombing in America, the largest bombing in America on American soil, was done by Americans to Black people. Bigger than 9/11. They dropped bombs on us. Did you know that, Any?
Yeah, yeah. You have a strange country.
But
Yeah,
did you know
look,
that? Did you know that they bombed our wealthiest city that we created?
not especially. You know, I know. You know,
Okay, so it's in the book.
yeah, yeah.
Keep
No,
reading.
there's variations of America's cruelty to itself or stupidity to itself. Call it what you know. So either one applies, right? You know, and I think even creating the nuclear bomb was, you know, it affected Americans more than anyone else. If you think about the process, you know, the more
Why do we
Americans
need the
died.
biggest? Why do we need the biggest army in the world? To be honest with you, we are so far away from everybody else. If we just sat here and minded our own fucking business and gave our children a better education and had enough to just do an Iron Dome over America like we do for Israel, we'd be set. But no, we think it's better to create war than to create education. We think it's better to send troops into somebody else's country to remove their horrible dictator than to vote the one that we have out. It makes no sense. This need to be the biggest and the most powerful, yet the dumbest
You know
is.
what? You know what, Bill? I think it comes down to the thing that you keep pointing to in your book, which is it's
Oh
all
yeah, the
about money.
book.
You know, it's about money. It's about money, right? And that's it. That conversation is about Bill's book. The Bogan Man was built. You know, and there's a long subheading, so a subtitle to it. You know, I said, bro, Charlie likes what you're saying, so well said, and you're speaking facts. There's many great questions that we need to get through as well. Chris P, how you doing, Chris? Long time. It feels like
Okay.
I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you're an early one. You're talking about Tulsa in the 20s. And
Yeah.
more. And more.
Well,
And
well,
more.
well. The what I do in the book, because Chris is right, I touch on that in volume 1, but in volume 2, I walk you through what it would look like today had that not ever happened. And that goes against the myth that the Black people have never contributed anything to America, that we're lazy and that we're takers. How can we be takers if we built everything? The biggest asset in America was cotton that was farmed, harvested, and done by our workers.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do apologize. I think you should talk for a second while I go pee. Everyone, I have I have diabetes, and so sometimes I have to go more. Plus, in order to wake up for this, I took a bunch of shots of my tea.
Very smart. Very smart. So look, you know,
So
it's probably an age thing for me. You know, you do what you have to do. I will
it's
welcome
an
my
age
friends.
thing.
Yeah,
I'll be right back.
yeah. And I literally, you know, when I was young, like my son, 17, he can go all day without thinking of toilets. Whereas I can't. If I think of it, I have to go to the toilet there and then. Otherwise, I might come unstuck. You know, Rob, welcome. I do see you, Rob. So we'll talk about your point when when I guess when Bill comes back, right? I'm trying to get your point on screen, which I think is it's an important point. So now this has been very insightful. Glad I tuned in. I'm 38-year-old. What happened there? Disappeared off my screen again. Thanks, Restream. Right, let's try again. Not pressing the buttons this time, any. Right, so I'm a 38-year-old white dude from the suburbs. Didn't know a lot of this, and that's on me. Look, Bill's book is full of facts. Go and get the book. Say I'll share the link in a few minutes. When Bill gets back, I guess I'll ask the question because he had an offer yesterday where you could download the ebook. I don't know whether the offer still stands. When he comes back, we'll ask him. If it stands, I'll say to you, go and download the book. Go and download the ebook. Of course, the hope is that you like the ebook and you are only getting the ebook of the first of volume 1. There's 3 books in the series. Bill, tell us about them, please. There's 3 books in the series, and I say Rob's saying he knew nothing about any of this, so I'm saying go and get the book. Go and get the book. So my advice is go and get it.
So the book right now is Go Rescue Yourself Before You Wreck Yourself, Bill.
No, I didn't say that. Where are you looking?
It's on Com, Michael, or Malcolm.
Okay, so I'll get to that in good time. And it seems to be the other way, right?
So the ebook right now, I had a really great show with a Miracle yesterday, and I gave it for free, and I kept that free price on today. So anyone listening right now, you can get the ebook for free. And what I will say to you guys, because Annie knows this, go to GoFundMe, y'all. If you can buy the book, I would love for you to do that. But I really think that this book is so sensational that I'm going to offer the electronic version for free, just for a couple of more days. So go out there, get it, and tell me what you think, because this is my first time putting things together, putting things down, trying not to soften the story, but delivering it in a way that people feel like, okay, I hear this, I understand it. It doesn't sound like it's coming from a place of hate. It's coming from a place of knowledge. And it is, Amazon. I'm sorry. If our great host would have put my QR code up there instead of his own, then maybe y'all would know where to get it from.
We're all trying to sell books, Bill. We're all trying to sell books, my friend. I'll get there in a second. Okay, so I will get. I'm gonna share the link. I'm gonna share the link. So here is the link. I think hopefully it works. Where am I going? So I'm going to LinkedIn, going to the comments. Yeah, 3, 2,
Rob,
1. Here
you know what? Rob, I didn't know. I'm older than you, and I didn't know any of this stuff, most of it either. What occurred was, through this year, or through the last couple of years, I've been writing a lot, and there's certain things that I write for myself, and there's certain things that I write and I publish on LinkedIn. And as I started digging, I learned a lot more. Like, I didn't know about Tulsa until 2020 because we were closed. Everything was shut down, and I was watching 2 movies. One was The Watchmen, and the other one was, I don't remember, but it was really good. I'm going to send you the link to that movie, Rob, because it's really, really good. And there was a scene in a movie theater and bombs go off, and I I said to myself, "Oh, that's a really interesting scene," and then someone else said, "Well, that's our true history," and I was like, "What?" So it's the things that were never taught. And if you live in Florida, you know that books by Black authors, Black publishers, books about um, African American history, uh, and I don't think there's a such thing as African American history. It's American history, and
Mm.
if we embrace it as that and understand where this comes from, we'll understand why we all view people differently. It's just history. And the history is not to make someone like Rob feel bad about himself. I love you, Rob. Good for you. I'm glad there was some insight here. You are not. Look, my father beat my mother and was a heroin addict because he came back from Vietnam all screwed up. I do not want to be held responsibility for the acts of my father. I don't want to hold responsibility. So it's not about saying, "Oh, Rob's a bad guy because this happened." No, it's about Rob. Take a look about and understand what has happened. Take a look at why when you see a Black man with dreadlocks and a gold tooth, you you stand at attention all of a sudden and automatically judge him. And the reason why I use that example is because I'm a Black man without dreadlocks and without a gold tooth, and I've seen myself clutch my own, like, oh shit. I'm like, why am I doing this? This man is like so chill and dropping knowledge, and I just sized him up. It's not that you do this or you do this. I think we all have that, and we all have something in us because we were taught certain things. Even in our own community, because the manufacturing of the boogeyman was also infiltrated into our own community. My dad's mother said to me when I was 8, she said, "I told your father, don't you ever bring anybody home darker than a paper bag, and look at how light skinned your mama is." And I went home and told my mother this, and I'm full Black, like I'm like 100%. People are like, "But what do you mix with?"
They might look
You
at you
know,
funny.
yeah, they're like, "But what do
They
you
look
mix
at
with?"
you
I'm like,
funny.
"I
You're
nothing that I know of." My mom was just fair, my dad was fair. Um,
Mm.
and I told my mom that, and she went off because my mom was always an activist. She was always, Black is beautiful. And when people talk about reverse racism, any, they talk about, well, Black is beautiful, or Black girls rock, or white girls rock too. But the problem with that is that when you ask what is beautiful, and I've heard people say this 100 times, "Oh, she has blonde hair and blue eyes." Well, I have seen some people with blonde hair and blue eyes that are 700 pounds and got 2 teeth. Like, that doesn't make you beautiful. Like, it doesn't. And the hair is so fried. And they walking around looking like Chucky. No, that's not beauty. Beauty comes from within, and it has multiple shades. And when you say blonde hair and blue eyes, what you're saying is you're describing a certain European aesthetic that we have been taught is beautiful. Where I can see the beauty in that. I can see the beauty in Kim Kardashian. I can see the beauty in Naomi Campbell. I can see the beauty in Naomi Watts. There's beauty in everyone.
Mm.
There is beauty, but it doesn't fall under one monolith. There's beauty in every culture,
Of course there is.
and it's not only physical beauty. To me,
Mm.
beauty comes from within. You can feel someone's spirit, you can feel their aura, and you can feel their soul if you're wise enough to look and be calm enough and settled enough to let it in.
For sure. Look, my one aim today, my friends, go and get The Boogeyman Was Built. It's on Amazon. If you want to buy the ebook is currently free for a very limited period, says Bill. So I'll go and get it now if I were you. I'll give you the Amazon.co.com link. If you're somewhere else, just change the .com to whatever your local area is. Like for me in the UK, I'll change that to .co.uk, and it'll be the same link. If you get what I mean, right? Go and get the book now. Go and read the book. Hopefully, like I say, you get the ebook, you like it, and then you say, okay, I want to buy a print version. So we actually have it on your bookcase, right? And then it's yours, right? It's yours forever. Do as you wish.
I love this one.
Is that book 1 or is that book 3?
This is volume 1.
So volume 1 is in hardcover.
All of them are in hardcover, so they come in hardcover, paperback, and ebook.
No, they have the hardcover. It does look beautiful. It does look very nice.
I like hardcover books better because I tend to, with my paperbacks, the covers tend to roll.
They tend
to get squished up somewhere. But my hardcover books, I leave them out for guests. I leave them on the coffee table. But this is good reading. And I think with each chapter, you'll find something that makes you go, wow.
Yeah.
If you are a person that has been labeled the boogeyman, you'll say, wow, I didn't recognize how brilliant we are. If you're not the boogeyman, you'll recognize how the image was created and how that voice was silenced. Then in volume 2, you'll be surprised that you're actually seeing the same things in volume 1 occurring in real time. And how do we stop it? And it's not about one person, because in volume 2, the boogeyman's not the same.
No, because everyone is a boogeyman. That's what I take from your book, Bill. Everyone, we're all part of the problem. We're all part of the solution, but ultimately, we're all victims of the stories we've been told.
Yes,
that's my general conclusion. So look, if it sounds intriguing, my friends, which you should, do go and have a look at it. So Michael says, he lived in Tulsa for years, but never, he knew nothing of it, nothing about the place until he left the city 10 years later.
Yeah,
which is rather weird, right?
Yeah, that's a very powerful. That's a very powerful chapter. And then in volume 2, when it unfolds into, because I do connections, right? So each book can stand on its own, but really getting through volume 1 helps you understand the significance of volume 2.
Yeah. And well, now it's a 3-book series for a reason, right? You got to read all 3.
Yeah, the 3rd book is a healing. And so what that does is it recognizes how each sector was a boogeyman at some point, depending upon what the government or the people in power needed at that moment, whether it was Jewish or it was immigrants or like the Chinese were put in concentration camps. Or it was the Japanese. Let me go read my book.
Yeah. Yeah, probably both, right? Dr. Gisette, I see you. Welcome. Gisette has several books. Of course, she's also embarked on her events mission now. So she's doing more events and more on Zoom. Serious conversations is what she's having. So good morning to you. So Michael wants to know what tea you're drinking, Bill. Hopefully it's just normal tea.
Oh, I am drinking a combination. So I like the taste of spearmint, and so I'm having spearmint tea with an organic English awake tea.
It's nothing. There's nothing English about his awake tea. I don't know what that is. No, there's tea or there's tea.
Well,
he's drinking funny stuff.
Because one, I think the spearmint has a little caffeine or no caffeine, but the awake English breakfast tea is like full of caffeine. And because this was I don't do morning. I should be sleep.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one, my friend. I'm with you completely.
So the English awake, yeah, I did the one for flavor and then the awake to get my energy up. The book title is the book series is The Boogeyman Was Built.
The Boogeyman Was Built. So it's mirrored. That's probably how. But then you can see in the comments, right?
And then this book, volume 1, is How America Manufactured a Monster and the People Who Refuse to Become It.
Yeah.
And so it's a 3-part series. And yeah, take a read. It's for free right now. You can read volume 1.
You can't get better than that, my friends. You really can't.
Yeah.
Go and get it now. You have no excuse, right? It's free. So Crispy says, Obama was a respected world leader he had in his lifetime. You see, okay. Let's throw one in there. See, here is a complication.
I believe him. I believe him.
Go on.
And I believe him, and I believe that the thing about the Obamas, just period, that we have to recognize is that
ignore that.
That family has to have a squeaky clean background, because if this administration could find one thing to blame or hang on him, they would.
Yeah. There wasn't a story about how they're related to the Kennedys.
Huh?
I read something somewhere that the Obamas were related to the Kennedys somehow. There's a link to them. In other words, there's always a white background somewhere if you're gonna get anywhere as a black person.
Well, first let's be clear, and that's what we're not going to do here, is to have that discussion that you're not black enough. Because no matter what color or how much white DNA he may have had in him, when Mitch McConnell saw him walk through the door, his first statement was, it is his mission to make him a one-term president.
Just a black.
When Mitch McConnell, when Barack Obama presented a Supreme Court nominee 8 months before the election, Mitch McConnell said, we can't do that. You can't, now you're a lame duck. This is your last year, so we're not going to allow it. Then at the same time, he allowed Donald Trump, within months of the election, install 2 people.
Yeah.
Amy Coney Barrett was put in after, I believe, Trump lost the election, but he was still in power.
Mm.
And that's what I mean by there are two sets of rules for two different people. In America, people always talk about the Second Amendment. Y'all, I can go on and on and on. And I have I have black friends. No, I have friends that say, "Oh, I have a right to carry, so I'm going to take my gun." I'm like, that law was not made for you. That law was not made for you, because if they see you with that gun, you have to stop, drop, and roll.
Mm.
So,
See, the delusion is clear to me. I'm sure it's clear to you too, Bill. The delusion is the delusion. I think it is. It's
well,
believing that
Michael,
we are.
the part that Obama was not American enough was also manufactured,
Mm,
because when Trump was running for office, he made sure and made a deal with Rupert Murdoch that they would always call him Barack Hussein Obama. And the reason why they wanted to use his middle name was because after 9/11, America had a real disdain for Hussein. I forgot who did the, no, I think we're unclear who actually did 9/11.
ISIS, Muslims, Libya, take your pick.
Yeah, but I believe someone involved with it, his name was Hussein. Um,
Saddam?
I don't remember, but they made sure that they used the word Hussein so that they could say that he was a Muslim, and that they could say that he was affiliated with this other organization. And you know what? The Muslims that I have met are some of the best people that I've met, hands down. There's always a radicalized group out there that everyone looks at and says, that's hate. It's not. Just like Christian nationalism is not love. It's not. I'm not
Mm,
saying that Christianity is not love, but there's a division. There's a separate. There's one that is there to uplift everyone, and then there's one that was there to hold a Bible up to say you're not good enough
mm.
because you don't agree with this book. Yeah,
Yeah,
golf course names.
yeah. You're reading all the way down now. I'm going back up. Professor Roxana, good morning. Welcome, welcome. As Chris says, racism does exist, as does reverse racism. So white privilege does exist. Sorry, Chris. White privilege does exist. So does reverse racism. But racism has nothing to do with power. It's just not liking someone or judging someone based on race. I don't know. Bill might argue with you on this one. Everything it comes down to power. It's about money and social class.
Well, so what my my polite pushback on Chris, because Chris and I are brothers from another mother. Hey, Chris, is racism, reverse racism has everything to do with power. Racism itself may not have anything to do with power. It may have more to do with lack of exposure, lack of understanding, being fed the false narrative and really believing it because that's all that you've been told. But reverse racism is extremely hard to do because most in America, if you look at the globe, the percentage of black CEOs are lower.
By a long
You
way.
know, and even with Barack Obama and Kamala Harris, they both got a lot of heat because they had to ensure that they were being just and fair across all areas.
Mm.
And what they got slammed for was, well, you didn't do enough for the Black community.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, Kamala got nailed because she put more Black men in jail for marijuana possession, but that was her job. She was the
Mm.
attorney general,
Mm.
and it was illegal at the time.
Yeah.
So if it was a male counterpart, they would have said, my God, look at all the crime he got off the street.
Mm.
But we look at it and go, well, you know, she should have given the brothers a pass. You can't do that. She had a job to do. Today, would you have made the same decision? No, it's legal. It should never have been illegal at the time. And there have always been a double standard on drugs and who's carrying them and the offense. You look at one group of people that were doing cocaine and they get a slap on the hand, but the people that were doing crack, which was a small percentage of cocaine, were put under the jail. So
Yeah.
we can get into all these things.
Mm. Well, you know, Bill does in his book. So you know, you go and read the book. You know, then you can really you can go into rabbit holes as I call them, right? So
He's tired of talking to me.
Jason's here. So glad you're here, Paulette. I see you too. Of course, welcome, Paulette. Any playing statues? No, I'm moving. I think I'm moving ish. Yeah, see, I move every so often. I move, like I just did, right? So I'm all right. Liana, welcome. I was wondering why you said happy Saturday, Liana, but you know, you corrected yourself. You know, it is Friday still. I thought I might have missed a day. You know, that is quite funny though. Who was? Have I missed anyone? So I mentioned Lisa. So Lisa's here. Natasha, Dr. Natasha. Great to see you too. You know, I hope you've all gone and got your copy of the book. You know, the link will be in the comments. So do go and go and get your copy of the book. It's a good read.
And
You
follow
know,
my author page too. It's like
yeah,
the more followers I have on my author page on Amazon, it kind of ticks the book up too. So get the
yeah, and
book for
also
free.
yeah,
If 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 you like what I said, remember that I am a starving artist. So get the book for free. Buy the book so I can feed myself.
yeah. Yeah, but buy the book. You know, leave a review. That'd be really handy. You can leave a review on LinkedIn if you want to, or just leave a
On
review on Amazon.
Amazon, leave the bill on Amazon.
Then
Yes.
copy and paste it to LinkedIn if you must. You know, say
Yes.
just leave a review. That'd be really handy. So now, try and do this in a minute or two, Bill. What do you want to happen as a result of people reading this book or reading your books?
I want to lay the foundation so that they understand how we got here. I want them to look at today and recognize that we're heading down a very slippery slope, very, very fast. And then the third book is recognizing everyone that's ever been considered a monster or a boogeyman. And at the end of it, I want everyone, just like the beginning of the book, to lock arms and change. Because we can only change if we stood as we stood in the beginning. Because what created the monster was that beginning. Did you read the beginning?
Yeah, I'm trying to process that. Yeah.
Yeah. So
The beginning,
we're
the beginning is what got us here.
yeah.
Right. In
And the
which case,
beginning is what gets us out of it.
which is rather that's an odd bit. You know, doing something different might be what gets us out of it. But are you saying do the beginning
The
longer,
locking
harder?
arms. No, no,
Yes.
no. So in the beginning, we rose up together.
Mm.
Irish,
Solidarity.
African,
Yeah.
Irish, African. They were all
Scottish.
slaves. Yeah,
Mm.
they were all slaves. And they created this division. And then they created the narrative around the division. And so
Mm.
what we need to do is recognize the truth, recognize that there's no one greater than anyone,
No, we're all slaves.
and no one less than anyone.
Yeah, yeah.
And the only way we're going to get out is if we are unified. And our forefathers, if we really think about it, when they wrote the Constitution, they said, united we stand, divided we fall.
Mm.
And they've divided us. And I think that this wonderful country is falling apart piece by piece. And on the world stage, you know, we're not getting the news over here that any might be getting, but on the world stage, I think we look ridiculous. This man just took a Qatari jet, spent $4 billion of your money to fix it, flew it one way, and then couldn't fly it back. The dumbest thing I've ever heard. But we can't feed people. Get the fuck out of here.
Go by the book, my friends. Right. Let's talk about the process, which is my interest today. Right.
Oh,
Say a
we
lot
ain't
of
done
people.
yet.
No. There's 3 great questions for you. That's just from the audience.
Okay.
I said I like Ryan. I love your question. Thank you so much. I said, how do you choose the right topic for a book? Oh, so where did this come from, Bill?
So Ryan, I write every day. Either do not do that to me.
You see love before I do, by the way. I press the button and you complain. It hasn't happened on my side yet, but you look great as always, Bill. Go carry on.
Okay, this man. So I write every day, whether it's song lyrics or articles or affirmations. I just write things, and the easiest thing for me to write and the most obvious thing for me to write would have been a leadership book. And I think that the leadership book would have done a great service to my career, and I need to get my career back launched up. But I felt like this book would do more for everyone. So instead of focusing on what was the easiest, I focused on what was most passionate for me in this moment. I'm still going to do the leadership book, but as my first book, I didn't want to produce something that was self-serving. I wanted to give something back that not only uplifted my people, my children, opened up my friends' eyes to things that they see, but can be handed down generation from generation and be something I'm proud of. Everybody writes a leadership book or a coaching book or something, and I'm just like, no. I could do it. I do it all the time with my articles, but this is where my passion lies. And
Fair enough.
you just cut me
Wait.
off.
That's a fair enough way to choose a topic. You can come back in, Bill. You can always interrupt me. It's fine.
Well, that's how I chose the topic.
Yeah. Now I say, look, I said,
It was my
look,
passion.
there's 3 ways you mentioned. Essentially what the leadership stuff. You know,
Yeah.
it's one way. You know, it's another way. You know, is writing for what the world needs. You know, what you truly believe that people are missing, and that's a very big reason to write a book. You know, if you know something that people don't know, you know, that's probably what guides most authors. Of course, you know what you're passionate about as well. So that could be a third angle, but you know, I think you can find a combination. You know, having that passion, I think, is necessary because you can hear it through your words on the page. You also hear it when you speak about the book as well, Bill. You know, this is something that you care about, obviously, and you know, and I imagine it's burned you for a long time. You've thought about this for a long time.
Yeah, absolutely. I've thought about it most of my life,
Wow.
and more so now. And I've thought about it because I see things that you don't, any,
Mm,
because
mm.
people look at me. I said this yesterday and don't know what the hell I am, and so
Don't worry.
they'll
Every time you say
they,
that, I laugh.
they don't. It's true though, and so they'll sit there and they'll say things, and I'm just like, do you know who you're talking to?
No,
like, are you
obviously
serious?
not. Obviously not. Obviously not. Look, I've got now. My wife is white, and people will say things to her, and she just be like, "Did you really say that?" And they really did, because all they say is a white person. They won't imagine she's got a house full of black people. Basically, is the way they'll
Right.
look at it. You know, and you know, so I can believe you hear things that you know that are unthinkable. You know, but people think them, right? People do think them every day. You know,
They they
and
they get mad. They say things. And the part that upsets me the most is every place I've gone, no matter how affluent or not affluent the people were,
mm,
they put the black man on the bottom of the totem pole.
mm.
I was in. Do you have time for a story?
Yeah, please go for it.
All right. So this is not in the book. Um, I was in Sri Lanka, and uh, my staff, John, was doing a training for the Sri Lankans. We had an office there on how to uh, do the administrative part of our website. And I'm in the back, so the entire group is facing John, and I'm in the back, and all I'm really doing is listening to make sure John's doing a good job, and I don't have to come back here again, and you know it's safe to have him fly out, you know, because you can't be every place at every time, but you do
Mm,
want to make sure that when you're making a big transition and you're a C-level person, that your name is on that line and that
mm,
the training is going the way you want it to be. And so um, I'm working, and all of a sudden John starts laughing, and he says, he didn't start laughing. He said, "Oh, I think that'd be a great question for Mr. Rochelle." And he said, "Mr. Rochelle, stand up, please." And so I stood up. And guys out there, I am one of the best leaders in the world. I'm telling you, because my team never ever felt like they had to adjust themselves to accommodate me. So John says, "Mr. Rochelle, would you stand up?" And I stand up, and then all the seats turn around, and it's like 100 people. And I'm like, "Sure, what's the question? Anything." And so now their backs are to John, right? They're looking at me. I'm looking at John. John puts his hands like this and starts to laugh. And the person stands up and they said, "You say that your website is super exclusive. what do you do about black people? Now, John knows I'm a black man.
Mm.
John made them turn around to look at me. I'm sitting here thinking to myself, and I'm not putting anybody down, nobody. But I just walked into this office as I watched a cow walk down the street eating trash out of a trash can. Like, why is it that you think that you're better than the black man? That shifted my life. It shifted my life.
Why?
And why did it shift my life?
Yeah.
Because why would you think that black people couldn't be a part of an exclusive website? Um, thousands of miles away from America. What stories have you been told? And I wasn't in a position to educate an entire continent or island on
Mm.
the successes of black people. And then when I said to him, I said, "Well, how would you know that they're black?" Because their job was to review content to make sure that there was no hate or anything like that.
Mm.
And they said, um, because they have poor grammar and they speak in short sentences. And I had to just basically readjust myself. And I'm proud of me. I mean, honestly, because there was no, there was no emotion in my face. There was no judgment in my tone. John was in the back laughing because he couldn't believe that the question was asked. And then he knew who they were talking to. And he thought I was going to put them in their place, but I didn't.
Mm.
So instead, I educated them and
Mm.
told them, these are our guidelines.
Mm.
If I say what's up, WASSUP, which I do all the time in my like little texts or DMs and stuff like that to people, it doesn't mean that I'm less educated. It just means that that's how I'm choosing to represent myself,
Mm.
you know? And so that affected me. And then, the story I told yesterday where I'm with, you know, my white friend in Florida, and I pull up to this car and I say, it drives me nuts. Like, I can't afford an S class. How does this kid afford an S class? And she said, he's a drug dealer. And I said, that white kid right there is a drug dealer? And she said, oh no, he has rich parents. And I'm like, you don't even recognize what you just said. You don't even recognize what you just said to me. And you don't recognize where that statement came from. So if he was a black person driving an S class,
Mm.
he would have had to have been a drug dealer.
Yeah.
But if he's a white person, he's wealthy. And it's generational wealth because his parents were wealthy. So that's why the topic sits so hard with me. That's why I'm so passionate about it. And I've always known that we are greater than what is shown in the public. You know, I know every black person out there will say whenever they see the news and they see a suspect on the news, like, please don't let him be black. Please don't let him be black. And it's true. And most time he's not.
Mm.
But if he is, you hear about it from every angle. But you haven't heard about the person that shot um, Charlie Kirk. No one knows.
We heard the news. No, we heard the news. We didn't hear any more about who it was.
Yeah, I mean, we know who he was. We don't hear about the person that shot at Donald Trump. He was a white guy, you know. The two people that shot at Donald Trump was the white guy. So it's just crazy, and so I am passionate about it because I see the disconnect on how we are portrayed, and not only portrayed, but how we're judged. So a kid of 14, if they're black, can be charged as an adult, and he's considered a thug, where a 27-year-old man can walk past a crowd of policemen at a Black Lives Matter protest with an AK-47 or AR-15, shoot everybody up in the crowd, and then he's considered a poor young kid who was afraid. And he gets off because he cried, because he said, I was so afraid that they were going to come get me. You have an AR-15. You drove across state lines to a peaceful rally full of black people, and when you saw them, you shot them and said that you were afraid for your life. They didn't drive to your house. They didn't drive to your house, and you're not guilty. I'm just over it. I'm just over it.
Yeah,
I'm over it.
I don't know what the answer. I don't know what the answers are. That's the thing, Bill. So I'll have to read.
The answers are this. The answers are look and be aware and say something. Black people are so forgiving that we don't want to say it's about race. We don't want to carry that burden anymore. But too many of our kids are getting killed. Right now, there have been 6 lynchings in the past 2 months. Black people do not hang themselves from trees, and they're saying it's suicides. You know, the people that they've taken out through ICE and put them in El Salvador or wherever they put them, but it's not right. The white woman that was shot, you know, in Minneapolis because she drove past ICE and they said something to her and they shot her in the face, and then they made her said that she was the assailant because she was trying to run them over. That was not true. So anyone can be the boogeyman. Yeah. It's what fits into the narrative of the person in power. And for that, I think I'm done. Do you have 2 more questions?
Yeah, a couple more. Ryan, look, we'll talk about how you choose the right topic for your book many times in these events. Of course, the ones we just covered, your interests, your experience, maybe even your pain. Of course, what the world needs, what you're passionate about. There's a few other ways, you can choose what people are asking about. That's another example. There's ways to find out what people that you want to help are asking, either on Google, even on you can use Amazon reviews as a way to write your topic. But come back to this room. Come back often. We're here every 2 weeks. Then we'll discuss more ways as time goes on. Right. Let's go on to our next topic. Next question, Bill. Is anything happening? Nothing's happening. Something happening? Yeah, show eventually. What? There goes Bill. This one requires thinking about, but let's see how you got your head around the topic. So in terms of mindset, and that's what the question is asking. 3, 2, 1. No, it didn't happen, Bill. It's coming though. There you go. Eventually. Right. So what's the biggest mindset shift authors need to make before turning a book into a business?
So I haven't.
Yeah,
So
let's break that a bit, because
yeah.
you got 3 books just published right now. Are you thinking book to business, or are you thinking hobby writing?
No. So I haven't turned my books into a business, so I haven't gotten that far ahead yet. The biggest mindset shift that I had to make was to just do it,
Mm.
was to take what I had, give myself a deadline, and to put it out. And that's what I did. And after I put it out, then I was like, now what do I do? And so that's
Mm.
why I'm on any show and on Americo show, because
Mm.
I put it out as a passion project. So the what I would recommend to anybody is that if you have something that's burning inside of you, that's your spirit telling you it's time to let it go
Mm-hmm.
and put it out. And once
Yeah.
you put it out, I have not looked at sales rankings. I have not looked if I have any reviews. It's only been out for about a week and a half, about 10
Mm.
days. And I'm a first time author, so I'm not expecting, a huge uptick yet. So I'm and I just did my first discussion about the book yesterday. This is my second prior besides the launch. So
Mm.
Juan, I haven't thought about that far about turning the book into a business. Um, I more so took a passion and a concern and put it into words that other people can hopefully, um, hopefully it will resonate with them, and
Mm.
it will not change people's minds, but help them. Yeah, I want to change minds. And if it doesn't completely change your mind, at least give you some insight to think about before you see somebody.
Yeah, I like that. Look, I would say like you're already down the book as a business route, because whether it's happened by luck or by design, having a book series is a big help. Saying having 3 books, and you can explain about why there's 3 books if you want. I'm saying about having 3 books.
Actually, I want to say this because pull up the Chris Pinella's question right here.
Which one?
It's the
What?
second to the bottom.
Okay, I'm scrolling down all the way. There's a question up there I need to go back to. Okay, what? Let's not forget to mention that one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Chris, what I'm going to say about that is to be patient, because the healing book, the healing
Mm.
book goes in depth to everyone that has been the boogeyman, but we're going in a very specific order, and so we do talk about that. We do talk about the American concentration camps, because I think I said in the beginning, I asked as a child, how did America allow the Holocaust to happen? And we're watching it happen again right now. And I just said to any, You know, they're taking people and immigrants and they're shipping them off to like other countries. We don't know where these people are going. We do talk about the genocide of indigenous people um, in the book, but it's not in chapter 1. So these are the questions that come up, any that get resolved, but that's why there are 3 different chapters.
Yeah. 3 different
So
books.
if I put everything into one book, it would be overwhelming. And so in order
Yeah.
to follow the story, you have to get through this one, and then it explodes into what's going on today. And then volume 3, which is the healing book, acknowledges every single community that has been the boogeyman throughout centuries.
We like
So
that.
I hit every single one, every single
Yeah.
one. And if I left one out, Chris, I know you'll let me know. I'll have to
Yeah.
get
No,
you a copy of volume 3 first, so that you can critique it before I actually send it out.
so let me welcome Mr. Joe Perez. I think that I saw you in the show last night.
That's my best friend.
Yeah. Well, Joe says too many conflicts going on going in America, maybe around the world too. Too much racism and violence in this country. Again, this is this is an endemic thing around the world. Europe is, and I won't go to Europe because they're right now. Look, the Western world's racist. Is what people are. Right? I heard someone say last night, when they come to UK, this was someone from Arabia or that, right? They said, when I go to UK, I want to see white British people. You're like, what do you mean? When I go to US, I want to see white Americans. It's like the others, apparently, the foreigners, the boogermans that you're talking about, apparently don't count. You think, but you're foreign yourself, and you must know nowhere has a pure Aryan genetic makeup anymore. If they ever did, but they think, some people think something about the Western world, and it's really white people, which is just weird. The weirdest thing, just like I guess African countries, they're not all black either. Very few are all black, no white people at all. Nigeria has its own albino people, but let's not worry about that. I don't know how we solve this much racism thing. It is a fact of life. It's something that we have to live with. I don't know how we ever going to change that, but
I think we change it by things like what we're doing right now. And I'm going to ask Joe, since the book is free, to read it. Just to read the first chapter, or not the first chapter, the first volume, and think about things that you've been sold, and then that's my other buddy.
Which one?
Chris and Joe, they're funny.
Okay. Chris
and Chris is right. Chris is 100% right. We're heading backwards, but we're heading backwards intentionally, by design.
In a good way, or in a not so good way?
In a horrible way. In a terrible way. We're defunding. We're in America. We're defunding things like people with disabilities. We're defunding food snaps, or SNAP programs. We have a leader that lies to other leaders, says that he makes deals with people that he has never made. This is insanity, and you cannot tell me that Barack Obama could have done any of this stuff and still been in office. There's no way. None. And I don't see I don't see the reason why people are so enamored with our current administration, why they're so in love with it.
They say the right things, and they promise
They
the
say
white
things, but then they
people,
do something different.
yes, but they promise the white people some recognition of how they've been done, how done by.
Ooh, Joe, call me after this because I want to know how you did that because I need SNAP benefits myself. No lie. All right, sorry guys.
That's I really that's it. Trump speaks to a version of Americans, and I think the American issue is more complex than race. Of course, that's what you said in the book. You're saying is down to some level of poverty, which
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
of which the poor have been lied to into believing there's something else, into believing that their power comes from subjugating others. There's someone less than you, so use that as your vehicle for your happiness and for your. I think Freud described it quite well. It's a small man trying to feel big by pushing others down. Is what it comes
Yeah,
down to, right?
absolutely. That's I would love to get Chris up here to talk because he'll tell you in more of a tech, because Chris is a polymath, so he's like super smart. Not that you aren't smart any, but I'm not.
I don't know if to be smart, Bill. I'm quite happy to be the guy with the simple questions and the simple way of thinking.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Right.
But Chris can tell you about like the frontal cortex and then something else, and how people with this type of mind thinks in this way, and it's just weird. But
write the book, Chris. Write the book. Yeah. But let's see it from your point of view. Look, so Coach Sean is here as well. It's great to see you.
I love Sean. Hey, Sean.
Yeah, he's a clever man.
He's so calm.
Yeah. I've showed 2 comments so far. I'm still waiting for one of them to show up. For either of them to show up, really. Did that one? No, that's not. That was Coach Sean's comment. It's not going to happen. Hiya, Enid, William, Bill, and all. I see you too, of course, Chorito. So I do want to show your comment. 3, 2, 1, 0. Ah, there it is. Good evening, amazing gentlemen, William, Annie, Kenny, and other gentlemen and all the ladies listening. Thank you so much for joining us, Miss Chorito. Good to have you in a normal daytime, right? There's one more question I want to ask.
Hurry up, I gotta pee.
There's one question. Yeah, no, it's all right. So let's try this one, and then you can go and do what you gotta do. And then so we can call it a day. We'll talk forever, Bill. But this is about Bill's book, so do go and check out the book. The question is coming up.
So is there a common mistake that first-time authors should avoid when writing their book? I'm going to say this. I can't answer that question because I'm a first-time author, and I wouldn't know what a common mistake is. I will tell you that I had various versions of my book, and this is one, and this is what I submitted by accident. like basically like 3 pages.
I can imagine the shock. I can imagine the shock when you got the proof.
Bro,
you nearly died.
I got it 3 days before my launch, and so I had no book, and I had to like figure out what the right manuscript was, because I had because when you're writing and you revise and you write and you revise, you write and revise, and then I can't really QA my own stuff because I missed words or double words. So you're going to make mistakes. I would say use the tools that you have. I'm lucky enough to be related. Well, not lucky enough. but have a doctor of communications, and she's also a professor of journalism. So she was able to kind of go through and read my stuff and give me yes and no's. But you can also upload and have it checked through Chat GPT to make sure that all of your periods are right, and your sentence structures are correct, and there's no duplicate phrases. So use the tools that you have.
Yeah, yeah.
And know when good enough is good enough, because I kept rewriting volume 1, and then I finally submitted it, and then when I finished volume 2, I went back and rewrote volume 1 again, and then I'm like, okay, now it's done. So
And
yep,
over good advice. Your filing structure has to be impeccable to write a book. You can have many different versions of everything. If you think about it, by the time you get to the end, we're talking nearly a year, more than a year sometimes, from where you
yep.
started, right? So you're gonna have to have very clear naming conventions for your files. Otherwise, you get all confused. Really.
Yeah.
Someone
And,
who publishes people's books. I have different versions of books all day, every day.
and I would forget where I put the file.
Yeah,
So,
don't do that.
so
Don't
like
do that.
one I would save on my desktop, and one I would save on my Google Drive, and one I would save on my downloads. It was just a lot,
Yeah,
because
consistency, clarity, and you know where you are. You know where things are. And you know what the latest version is. I'll say that much. Go, please, feel free. Feel free. Look, there's many mistakes that authors make, of course. There's many, many mistakes. For say, Bill mentioned just the process you go through. Do you binge write, or do you write in, on a schedule? So one way that you can write your book is by saying, for example, you write half an hour every day, maybe an hour every day, morning or night, or maybe in the middle of the day, right? But so having a regular schedule, I believe, helps you write your book quicker, because you're consistent, you show up every day, or you show up frequently, and you do a bit more. A lot of people I know will go for I will write it all at once. It never works. It never works. That's it, never again. It never works. Best to have a schedule that you can do a bit every day, rather than once or twice a week where you hope to binge write. So when you do a bit every day, then you get into a habit, into a routine. One day you might do less than your half an hour. Another day you might do 3 hours, or you might do more. So literally, only by having a schedule that you keep, that you can get your book done easily. If you go for the Hail Mary, I can do it all in a weekend. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, no. Maybe you can. Most of us can't. When people tend to put things off like that, then they tend to have a problem. And another thing I would say, Bill's gone for a 3-book series to start, which is a brave thing to do, but that was almost accidental. As I said, literally one volume led to another, and I would say to anyone, don't bring me a 1,000-page book to publish for you. I don't want to do it. I really, I
right.
don't. I almost don't care how much you want to pay me. I don't want to do it, because it would take my life, literally. A 1,000-page book is to publish a 200-page book is hard enough. A 1,000-page book, think of that. A mistake on page 998, 997, cool. No, I'd rather not. Break it up like Bill did. And that's a much easier piece of work for everyone, for you, the writer, for the editor, for the publisher, and and so we go. There's many more mistakes that we'll talk about in this room. So do come along, and even if you want to send me questions in advance, you feel free, right? There's many authors here. Then Bill's now joined the club and say, many of us can answer your questions, right? Michael is making you an offer, but we do have to go very soon, Bill. So
Michael's
let's live with this one. I don't know what he's playing at myself. Where are we? We're on show. We're on show.
I don't know what he's asking.
I will show you in a second, Bill. It's coming.
I can see it, but I don't know what he means by that. So the ebook is originally $9.99, I believe, or $9, and then, but it's free right now. It should be free, or did?
Does that answer your question? I think it's free when I got it, so
yeah, it might be
free as well.
It might be over. I don't know. When did you get it? Last night?
This morning.
Yeah, it should still be free.
Yeah,
I looked.
It's free. It is there. It is there.
So after today, it should go back up to $9.
Good. Go and get it now, my friends. If you want it, go and get it now, and then buy the print book. That's what I was saying.
And I would love for any to give me his honest reaction privately. after you're done with more than 2 chapters.
Yeah, no, I need to read the whole book and read it again, Bill. Maybe a couple more times, because I read on screen. I know that there's things I'm missing, and the second time around, I'm always like, "Wow!" I'm sorry I saw that. I just didn't ring a bell. So we'll have a conversation. I did try to avoid politics at best of times, I must say.
But I don't think we mentioned. I didn't really go into politics in the book. I tell you this. I never mention our president in the book.
So what category would you put the book then? What category would you put it into?
American history, social history, American. I think it's American history, social history, and racial history, or something like that. And then, because I put the 3 books into one extra category for each book. I think one of them is, they're all history, right? But one of them is immigration and racial identity. And then there's one that is LGBTQ. So they're all history and social, not social politics, but social history.
Yeah, sociology is what I call that.
But I because there's so many. They only allow you to choose 3 categories. So for each book, because it does really cover multiple areas of the history, I included, like at the last one, like LGBTQ and Asian, where the second book might cover American, African American, and immigration, let's say. I don't remember the exact order that I did it.
Yes,
but they cover everybody. Everybody is in the book.
Yeah, it's not $9 for the other books, Michael. I know Bill's thinking of bundling his books on his website, so you have to keep in touch with him, to see whether.
Oh yeah. And I'm not sure if that's. I mean, I have to figure it out, because there's a cost to print it.
There's a cost, but it doesn't cost you anything.
For me to print it?
No, you just get it from Amazon at author price.
Right. But for me to, for me to, I'm going to go through Ingram Spark.
Okay. Why?
So that I see if I can get a better price, because Amazon takes a percentage of your sale.
so does Ingram. Ingram's a different ball game,
So I wanna put it on Walmart and on Target, and because I've been on Walmart and Target and all those places before, so I know how to do it. Um, and then sell it on my own website.
Yeah, well,
So
as
I'm
long
just
as you
trying to
know
figure out the best way to do it.
as long as you got your own ISBN, then the book is yours. That I say, if you use Amazon's ISBN, then more fool you, because then you are beholden to them forever, really. So get your own
Well,
private ISBN.
I can use Amazon ISBN and then get a separate ISBN from Ingram Spark for the same book.
You can, but that gives them ownership over your book.
Ingram Spark?
Yeah, they're the same thing, different sheep. Same sheep, different
Yeah,
feathers.
because I know Ingram Spark's doing all the printing. It's just
Mm,
one's under the Amazon umbrella, and then one I'm
yeah,
going directly to Ingram Spark.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
I haven't gotten that far yet, because
so it's best to have one ISBN that you can have the same book wherever. I say one ISBN, that's yours. That's the publisher and then provides your ISBN. Then you're free to put your book wherever you like. You can put your book on Amazon, on same book on Ingram Spark. Whereas if you use Amazon's ISBN, they will hold you by your balls, literally. Literally,
okay.
they'll say, right.
So on
Uh,
all three books, I use the Amazon ISBN.
mm.
So the only way that I can sell it other places is to go with Ingram Spark with the separate ISBN.
But then that won't let you sell your books on Ingram with ISBN.
I'll figure it out.
Look, the ISBN is a catalog number. It makes your book real in the catalog in the book world, right? Gives you a
Right.
number. If you got a book that's now suddenly got 3 different ISBNs, you're gonna create your own confusion.
Okay.
So that's the point. Look, let's leave it at this, Bill. What was the hardest part of writing this book? To get now to what's the hardest part of being where you are today with this book?
The hardest part was just doing it instead of sitting there looking at it.
What
The
was it a feeling of procrastination, a feeling of thinking, I want to do more research? What were you thinking as you were sitting
har- So I was thinking about my birthday.
there? I want it
That's
done
what
by
I was thinking about.
I want it done by my birthday is my target.
Yep. And I am someone that's date driven, goal driven. And if I don't give myself a priority date, then it gets done whenever it gets done.
Hmm.
And because I started off this year in such a weird space, and June marks 6 months of the year,
Hmm.
I wanted to clear out that negative and start off with a really good, clear, fresh start. And so for 3 months, I was sitting there and just really focused on several different projects. And then finally, I put the other projects down and solely focused on getting these three editions completed.
So was your process writing a bit every day, or were you writing big chunks in
I had
let's say at the weekends?
so I had everything written that I wanted to say. It wasn't
Mm.
formatted. It wasn't put together in story form.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And so it was taking everything that I had written, all my scribbles, everything that I had written down that I just didn't know,
Mm. Mm.
and said, other people need to hear this. And there were some days where some of the subjects came from a social media post that I saw.
Mm.
What are you doing?
I'm
I'm
agreeing
like
with you. I'm saying yes. I agree.
I'm like squirrel. So you're on your phone.
Yeah, that will be soon. Look,
Always multitasking.
okay,
So
always, always. I'm doing fine.
there was no real process. I mean, there were days where I put it down
Mm.
because I had nothing else to give, and days where I picked it up and I was up until 2 a.m. just writing it out, and
Wow.
waking up in the morning saying, okay, all right, this is the direction. And once I understood the tone of each book,
Mm, mm,
then the flow came with it. It's just like a song. Once I get the beat,
mm.
then
Clarity,
yeah,
clarity, and then that creates momentum, and then now you're in flow, right?
yeah,
It's all of that.
yeah. So it was more. I don't want to say divine, um, but it was more of a calling
Mm.
to put it out. And the reason why I said sometimes I had to sit it down, and that's when I couldn't find my files. Um, I had to put it down because I was forcing it, and I had this need to make it better. And then at one point, I recognized not to focus on the word count, but focus
Mm.
on the power of each passage.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, the pen will stop once you finish telling the stories.
Yeah,
There's no point working focusing on word count at all. And I know many people who do. It's counterproductive. It's
yeah,
like because sometimes you have to cut a lot of stuff out of the book when you finish anyway.
yeah,
The last part might be taking a lot of stuff out. But the word count will change. So I said never focus on that.
yeah. So
You know?
what I did was I took some stuff out and moved it over to volume 2. So
Mm,
that's kind of how volume 2 evolved, because I was taking stuff out because it was just too jam packed,
mm,
and
mm.
I had too many thoughts going on. And so intentionally, the way the book is written is volume 1 is going to point to volume 2.
Mm.
And then when you open up volume 2, it's going to be like, okay, it's a whole new story, but I understand it based on the story that I just read, because it's a
Yeah,
whole
yeah,
different era. And it goes into more detail about what's in volume 1. And volume 2 has prominent people in it, like Janet Jackson, you know, and Michelle Obama, and it has more things that you can look at and then ask yourself why,
yeah,
because
yeah.
you've seen it in real time.
Mm. Well, it's part of our reality, right?
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
looking. So don't judge a book by its cover. Well, this one looks good, by the way. This one does look good, and also, are the covers similar for all three, or have you changed the cover drastically?
On all three, have I changed the cover drastically?
Yeah.
uh a little bit, so I believe the fonts are pretty much the same on all the books. The covers are different in each book. So volume 2 is more of a blackish gray. Volume 1 is a brown.
Yeah.
And in volume 2, it has more mechanics underneath it, because it's talking about now the machine's working, right? So it's
Mm.
no longer being built. It's now a full-fledged machine. So you're seeing in the cover mechanics. And then on volume 3, it resonates more like the colors of volume 1, but you see a big cavern and a vibrant light at the end of the tunnel, and people, and you can't really see what their nationality is, but
Mm.
you got people walking together in line. And that's called that's the healing book.
Excellent. Christiana, can you talk? I know you're muted, so I don't know whether you're really here. I'm sure you're here, but I can't seem to get a response. Christiana, no? Oh, she speaks. She speaks. Hello. You found your way.
It's been too many attempts to try and talk to you guys. My
You
device
sound a
doesn't
bit
know.
you sound a bit distant.
I'm a some distance. See what I mean? My device is just saying no to me today. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can just about hear you.
Just about hear me.
Yeah, no, we can hear you okay. Now, so how are you doing?
I am wonderful, thank you.
So, we are about to escape. Have you got your copy of the book?
I'm getting mine. I'm getting mine today. That's why I put in the link in the message. Can you please put the link somewhere in this comment? I cannot see it. Hello? Can you hear me?
The link is there somewhere.
Okay, I'll find it later.
Yeah, otherwise DM me and I send it to your DM anyway.
Is your phone hot, Christiana?
Sorry?
Is your phone hot?
Is my phone hot?
Yeah.
At the moment. The other one was, so I'm using a different one.
Right, Mr. Bill. How do we end this conversation? I say thank you for spending your time with us. Thank you for sharing your passion and congratulations on your book. I say that wholeheartedly.
Yes.
I do hope our friends will go and download it. I'm sure a few certainly will. Hopefully everyone.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. This is my first time, so everyone give me grace. You know, if you know the objective is to bring us together, not tear us apart. So I want everyone to know that. I'm going to tell this to Christiana. Every time I'm on Restream on my phone gets really hot and my sound gets garbled if I waited too long. So that's why I was asking you, is your phone hot?
That does happen sometimes. So yes.
Okay. Yeah. Look at her.
I'm
Just the queen. Innie and I have decided that we are starting a business together. Innie and I. Yes.
I forgot that bit.
It is a catering business.
Christiana.
We're gonna have authentic Nigerian food shipped around the world, and your son will pack it up. You do your show every 2 weeks, right? So on your off week, that's when you're going to cook and prep for us. And for doing it, we'll give you 10% of the business.
I tell you, aren't we kind? Isn't that kind of us?
Isn't that kind of you? Of course. How about I give you 10% and give you 90%?
That's fair.
We can all discuss that. So I've just shared the link again to go and get your free copy of the ebook today. But do buy a copy of the print books. You know, if not today, let's say sometime. Do go and buy your copy of the book. It actually costs money.
And I really do want to thank everyone for showing up. I want to thank Innie and Christiana for always being so gracious with me, and this has been fun.
Oh, Bill.
It's a great start, Bill. It's a great start. Now your life's all about marketing his books now. You know, I hope you know that.
I'm gonna get out there.
I mean, these are your babies now. You know, seriously.
Yeah.
These are your babies. You have to grow them, get them in more people's hands every day. That's also his job, right?
You know what? I think that if someone asked me what I didn't know, it's that. Like I thought, okay, I'm gonna put it out and everyone's gonna buy it. Yay!
Yeah.
I'm like, oh wait,
I work
I
like that.
have to, I have to tell people and keep telling people about it.
Yeah, every day till you die, Bill. Well, until you write your next ones.
Bill.
Go,
What do you
try
say?
again, Christiana.
I said, Bill, you are the best advert for your book.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's true. It's true. It's true. You know, but Bill, thank you so much for being a star. Thank you for coming to see us. I'm sure that we'll spend more time talking about this book because I think it's an important contribution to our world, right?
I will
You know,
let you know when it's like the #1 international bestseller. I'll come back and talk about it.
Emmy. Was there a
Bill.
launch? Oh, Bill.
Yeah.
Bill and Emmy. So is there a launch party for this book?
I had the launch party on June 26th. It was my birthday.
You said that last night. But
Yeah.
Did,
So
did you check the scores?
Tiana, LinkedIn, YouTube launch party. We do it differently.
Yeah.
so the way that I did it, Christiana, and I come from the world of, music and stuff like that. I invited people to my birthday party, and then during my birthday party, I announced the launch of the book.
Yes.
And so it was kind of like if you think about Beyonce, how all of a sudden she's quiet for like 6 months, and then all of a sudden there's a big album that comes out and there's a tour announcement. It was kind of like that's how I did it. And I was working on the book up until the day I was having my birthday thing, because
Yes.
I told Annie that when I got the proof, I had submitted the wrong file, so I had to resubmit it
Yes.
and to get the book correct. So I was able to get the EPUB out on that day, but the actual book wasn't published for release. The hard copy and the paperback weren't published to be released until the 28th, which was 2 days later. They were all up there, like you could pre-order them.
Wonderful.
Do you know if your book is #1 already, Bill? Do you know what ranking your book has on Amazon?
I'm not gonna look until I'm not gonna look because it's my first. It's my first one, and so if I start looking at rankings and where I'm at and stuff like that, it will make me more concerned about how it's selling than the message that I want to get out. And I think the message itself is powerful, and it may be one of those books that, like, just like a song, those ones that are like a creeper, and you didn't know it, but then all of a sudden it's been like #1 for like 6 months, but when it first came out, it did nothing. So
sometimes I understand where you're coming from, Bill, but I also understand why Eddie's asking that question. Sometimes, and it also depends on, I guess, the subject, the topic of the book or the theme of the book. Sort of what happens is getting to that #1 or bestseller really helps people to get to go through the book, because this is how people buy it. And we're humans, right? Humans do what they're told to do. And when they're told this is a bestseller, we run to it. And if it's not yet a bestseller, how do we get a bestseller? Because it's the way we're going to get more books sold. And jump in here and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is what I see when it comes to books. So I can understand the person that Eddie's.
So I know I did one thing wrong. I'm sure I did many things wrong, but I know I did one thing wrong that I corrected yesterday, I believe. When it asked me for age range, I put like 14 to 17. And so I think that limited who it showed it to. And then I read, don't select anything if it's for everybody. And so for 10 days, it was restricted to the age range of 14 to 17.
Why the age range?
Because I thought it meant, I didn't understand what it meant.
Okay.
So when I selected it, I thought I had to put in an age range. So it said, "Is there any sexual content in it?" I said, "No." And then it said, "So what age range is it for?" And I thought about the topic, and so I just thought, okay, I I don't know. I don't want people to give this to their 8-year-old.
Yes.
Although I don't think that there's a problem with it. I think it's an educational book, but the subject matter is heavy. So I said, okay, well, 14 to 17, because then it said you have to have a max. And then when I reread it for volume 2,
Yes.
it said don't select anything if it's for everyone. So I just opened up volume 1 and gave it more breathing room last night. So it was stifled for the first couple of days, or first 10 days.
So what I'm hearing, Bill, is there possibly needs to be an extended launch party, because the book is
And
going to sell the book at different places and bring people together to be able to really promote the book, you know. So an extension of that awareness launching between two.
okay, well, I need to figure out how to do that. If you have suggestions, or if you want to invite me on your show, I could put something together.
I need to look at professional for this. This is what he does all day long. So you
What is Annie looking at? Because he's really in there looking.
And are you okay? Are you frozen? Can you hear us? I can see your head moving like a tortoise coming out of the shell.
Good news for you. Are you listening, Bill? Are you listening, Bill?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you know that you're number 1 in the US as we speak? You're number 1 in history of race and ethnicity.
There you go. Woo-hoo! Congratulations.
Yeah, no, really. No, many people never achieve number 1, but you've actually achieved number 1. So good for you.
Are you joking?
No, of course not. I've got a screenshot to show you if you want to see it.
I got to share that with everybody.
Yeah, no, it's there. No, it's there for sure. You know, so I'll send that to you. But I need to go and take my little man to go to his exercise. Otherwise, he'll kill me.
All right, but I gotta go anyway.
Yeah, no, thank you so much.
I'm sorry, I can barely hear you because your phone's doing what mine does, which is just static.
So
and it only occurs on Restream for me. Only on Restream.
More like Restream.
Yeah. So whenever I go on someone's show on Restream, I tell them to pick me first, because if I wait too long, my phone's gonna do that. All right, guys.
The Boogeyman wins.
I'm going to go out there and scream that I am number 1.
You really are. You really are. You really are. I'll send you. I've got screenshots now to prove it.
Okay.
I'll send this to you later on. Now, well done, you. We applaud you.
I applaud me too. What the hell? I didn't even know.
You should. Look, you enjoy. Thank you, everyone that's joined us. Thank you so much. No, thank you, Bill, Christiana. Thank you for joining us as well. Go and get your copy before it's too late, Christiana.
While I'm still number 1, let's keep that going. Woohoo! Bye, guys.
Yeah. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
I'm so excited.
So you should be. Really, you've done well. You've done amazing. Most people never achieve number 1. You have. So be happy. I don't know how to show if my stuff doesn't work. What can I do? I look at both of you until the end of time, right?
Bye, guys.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone. Are you moving? Are you moving? Are you moving? Yeah. No, you're not moving. Not yet. Come on now. Get moving. Yes, it's moving. It's moving. No, it's moving. It's not moving.
He sees you.
End the show. Today was nice.
From the children with no voice.
Wow.